It's time for another bot lane quick concepts video. So this one is going to be about roaming as a support. And a while ago, as I'm sure many of you did, watched a YouTube tutorial series that mentioned something for mid lane that they called the bread and butter roam. And so similarly, I think of this as the bread and butter support roam. And I know that a lot of people are, sometimes for good reason, really hesitant to roam as a support, especially if they're newer, lower elo players, just because they're not comfortable leaving their ADC for that amount of time. But it pays off really well. And I'm sure those people know that it pays off really well, but they're just not really sure when to do it. So you just saw me do it here, but let's back up and I'll go over why it was a good idea. So the first thing that you're going to want to think about is what you are giving up for this roam. So in this case, we have pretty much, so we just came from killing Kaisa, who is coming from base right now. Lux is pretty much zoned out because she's 1v2. We have a little bit of a wave here, and I don't really want to try to dive Lux here. I don't have my summoners because we used it to kill Kaisa. Kaisa's coming from base. It's just really, really risky overall. So let's go to this one. And as far as I know, we don't know where their jungler TF is. So I just dinged 3. And so what do I give up for leaving here? Well, might give up a little bit of tower damage. Might give up a little bit of lane pressure, but Kaisa is still coming from base. So that won't be for a while. Overall, a little bit of XP, a little bit of tower damage, I'm willing to make that trade. And on the other hand, what is our potential payoff here? So we can see that Vlad, his wave is pushed up further than the middle of the lane, and we have, as our mid laner, we have a Yasuo who does a lot of burst damage. And so I'm like, okay, I think that we can get Vlad's pool. That's important. Like, Vlad does have an escape, so we do have to play around that. So I think if I pink ward here and come around this way, I ping that I'm going in a lot in advance so that we get Yasuo to bait Vlad into using his pool, and I go in, no, Yasuo ignited him, that's right, and we get the kill. So basically, I just did some quick mental math. What do I give up for doing this? As you can see, not really much of anything. Like, Jhin is a little bit zoned off here, but Kaisa basically just came back to lane. We got a kill. That's super huge for a mid laner. Their mid laner is probably going to tilt off the planet, and I get back to bot lane, and Jhin is still CSing just fine. So Alistar is pretty much the perfect support if you want to roam or you want to learn how to roam, because he's so good at ganking that he's just not allowed to be a jungler. And so that's why he's such a good, one of the reasons he's such a good support is because you do ganks that you basically can't do as a jungler, that it's difficult to see coming. Oh, this is where I died to TF because I'm dumb. But anyway, so I just could see pretty quickly that we don't give up really anything for me to leave. I see that it's not that difficult to kill Vlad because Yasuo had his ignite at the time, and Vlad was pushed up. So try this out in your games. Identify when your champion can go to another lane, especially if you're a champion like alistar or Leona that's just insanely good at ganking from the support position. Yeah, that's a quick concept. Really important to climb as support is ganking mid.